11th July 2019. I'm in Chennai and I'm meeting Mrs. Neerja Malik, the legendary Neerja Malik, I would say. And it is my honor, such a big privilege, to meet someone like you. She is a stage 4 breast cancer survivor. Conqueror, sorry, yes, and she loves to call herself Conqueror, which is so amazing. And she's not only like been awarded so many places, and she's an inspirational speaker. She's a counselor with her huge background, and the way she inspires others. You will get to know when you hear her. So I don't want to talk much, but. It is really our fortunate. We are so fortunate to have you, Neerja, on this forum. And your life is such a big inspiration. And I'm telling you, whoever listens to your story, they'll be so inspired. Then they will get a reason to live also.
Sweetie, let me tell you, Lopa, that just today, when I was talking to you, and I find that you have impacted so many people in terms of awareness, in terms of prevention. You have gone from village to village. You're telling me about thousands. I think thousands multiplied by many. You have been able to spread the word of self-examination.
Thank you so much.
I'm so proud of you, Lopa.
Thank you so much, Neerja.
God bless you.
I wanted to call you Neerja ma'am. You didn't want me to call you ma'am.
Not at all.
Yeah. And also, this is her book, I Inspire. And there are so many YouTube videos. So once on her page, we will have all the links. Please watch the videos. It's so motivational. And I won't take any more of your time. Please, over to you, Neerja. Please speak about your journey, about, the introduction that you gave me. I already am so touched to listen to that. Please, the world wants to know who you are.
Okay. So I'm speaking straight at you. And I'm speaking from the heart. Dil se. 21 years back, I felt a twinge. Or in Hindi, wo kehte hain chubun. I felt a twinge. And I was aerobicking every day. So I thought, this, I touched it. It was the size of a pea. And I said, I must have strained it doing my arm exercises. And I remember the date very clearly. It was my father's birthday on the 2nd of February, 1998. 10 days later, on the 12th of February, I felt that same chubban. And guess what? I touched it. And guess what? From the size of a small pea, it had become quite large.
Wow, in just a span of few days.
In just a span of few days. And Lopa, what I want to tell you is that I would not have paid attention. So here I want to tell us that, see, this is our body. And we have to be sensitive. God is great. God said, hello, I have given you this twinge. You're not paying attention. 10 days later, again the twinge. And that is when I realized that I better get into action. And, in 10 days, this thing just grew over. So I called up the hospital, and there's the Apollo Cancer Hospital here.
In Chennai.
In Chennai. I live in Chennai. We've been living here since 1986. And I said, I need to come. They said, there's no doctor. It was evening. And I said, I don't care, I'm coming. And I landed. They said, okay, one doctor's gone on his rounds, he'll come back. And the doctor did check me up, and he felt my underarm. And then he turned to me, Lopa, this is important. He turned to me and he said, okay, because I explained, 2nd of Feb and 10th of Feb. And he said, okay, when did you get this? And I said, this what? Because this is obvious. But under the armpit, I never knew that there could be something there. So I had a bigger lump in the armpit than on my breast. So then he said, we need to do first, we need to do a mammogram.
Right.
And then an FNEC, a fine needle aspiration cytology. And he told me that you have to be very particular that you do it in that order. Not that you get the FNEC done first and then the mammogram. I said, okay. And I left. And he said, fix up the appointment and register in the hospital. So this was a Thursday. So went and they said, come on Monday. I said, sure, what time? 10 o'clock. I said, sorry, that's my exercise time. I was very slimline, my dear. And they said, when can you come? I said, 12, after the exercise. And they said, okay. Now, somehow or the other, they had asked me, when did you do your last mammo? And I had done it on the 17th of April, 97.
1 year before.
Yes, April, and this was
February, so just 10 months.
So I told them I'd done it on that day. They said, where are the reports? I said, I'm sorry. I mean, they said it's okay, so I don't know where they are. Do you have them? And then I realized that if they kept saving all the films,
then you didn't have to, because it's not the patient's, I mean, hospital needs to have that,
exactly.
right?
But
Yes.
they save it, those films, for only 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And after that, they are destroyed because in the hospital, there's so many X-rays.
patients, yeah.
Now, thanks to the fact that we have digital, you don't need to carry your reports.
Yes.
Even if you lose them, it's okay, because your name, under your name, you have all the reports kept in a computer digitally. But in those days, it wasn't so. And they said, you got it done when? I said, get me your register and I'll tell you. I personally went through it and I told them that this is the day I did it, because my signature was
Right.
there. And then we realized, no, they wouldn't have the films. I said, okay, so this was a Thursday. I said, I'll come back on Monday. Now, just before leaving, I put my telephone number, landline. Again, on some instinct that if you find something, this is where you can contact me. And when they said Monday, I said, I'll come and register later. I had my masseur at home. I was getting a cortical massage done, with the hot oils and blah, blah. So I came over. I never take the phone from there into this bedroom where I was getting a massage done. And the hospital called me. Now, Lopa, I want you to understand that because I have immense faith in God, when all these little things come, a twinge here, my leaving the telephone number, they calling me back and they said, listen, we don't need you to come on Monday. We need you to come back now. So I went back and they did a mammogram on the spot. And the doctor said, I don't need to do anything because I can see clearly. But we need to find out what stage, what grade, what
Receptor
type,
status.
the receptors, everything. So we will do the FNEC. And I said, when will we get to know? And they said, tomorrow. So they did everything, and the next day, they called me. I took my husband with me. And they said, Mrs. Malik, we have bad news for you. I said, what? You have cancer. So then I went into autopilot. And the doctors were fantastic. The one I met was a radiologist called Dr. Stu. He immediately took me to Dr. Ramesh, who happened to be the oncologist. And they in turn took me to Dr. Hemant Raj, who was a surgeon.
Okay.
So everything was fixed. That day was Friday, the 13th of February.
Oh, okay.
And so why I'm making it a point to say Friday the 13th? That some people feel that Friday the 13th is a
13
very
is
bad day. A lady came to me and she said, I hate the 1st of jab. I said, why? And she said, because my mother was diagnosed on that day. Lopa, you know what my attitude is? I love Friday the 13th. Why? Because I was diagnosed on that day. So I found in these 21 years of counseling cancer patients that faith in God, gratitude for everything, count your blessings.
So true.
It just makes the path so much simpler. And instead of finding rocks along the road,
like, why did I get it?
No saying why.
Yeah.
What do you find? You find flowers. Okay. Now, I'm so glad you got up this why. There are a lot of people who say, why?
Why me?
Me.
Yes.
Why me? And do you know what? I tell people, you know, when you say, why me? When I say, why me? I am digging my own grave. And where will the mud go? It'll go on to me. So I'm furiously digging, why me, why me? Self-pity. And while I'm digging away, mud is coming on to me. Not onto anyone else, it's coming. And I am going deeper into my grave. To such an extent that it might be difficult for me to come out of my own doing.
Right.
And in fact, even if Anjaneya or Hanuman is flying above and he looks down and, oh, there's Neerja, let me help her. Is Neerja even aware of his presence? She's so caught up in her own head. Why me? Why did it happen? I have not hurt a fly. How unfair, etc. So I always tell my patients, never say why me. Maybe you have the strength to face it.
Right.
That is why you. And maybe it'll all come out and maybe you'll move on. I'm sorry, but I keep getting stories in my mind.
Of course,
So
this is what we want.
I ran to my father when I was diagnosed. I said, Baba, I'm going to fight cancer. And he was from the Indian Navy. Warrior, Aryan, captain of the ship. Participated in the 1971 war. Was given a mention in dispatches. And he turned to me and he said, why are you using the word fight? Fighting is aggressive. Why don't you use another word? And I said, what, Baba? And he said, why don't you use the word face? Because facing means that you take it up as a challenge. Facing means that you're aware of it and you want to do something to overcome it. Hum honge kamyab.
What a beautiful thought,
Right.
really. I mean,
So imagine fight
yeah,
and face.
face.
And that day, those words got etched in my mind, my heart. And I tell every patient of mine. So if ever you read in the newspapers, do not fight cancer, face
cancer.
Those are the words of my father,
So nice.
Commander Binoy Bhushan.
That's so amazing. And then when you found out the grade, it was like you kind of did all the procedures and everything,
course,
right? You finished the chemo and radiation.
Oh gosh, so what happened is, those wonderful, the trinity of the doctors in Chennai, they had already decided that my surgery will take place on such and such a day. And my parents got to know about it. And my mother said, nothing to it. You are not going to have your treatment in Chennai because there you just have your husband and your twins. My twins were only 7 years old. Over here, she said, my mother, my father, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister, her husband, my 2 brothers-in-laws. She said, your entire support system is in Bombay. Come and get your treatment done there. I said, okay. Now, when I heard the news, I sat in the car. I was on autopilot. You understand the word autopilot?
Yeah.
So I've got the news. I haven't had time to deal with it. I turned to my husband. I said, I'm supposed to go for 2 lunches. So will you ring up this person and say that I can't come? He said, sure. Rings her up and he says, obviously she can't come. And the person will always ask why.
Why? Yeah.
So he turns to her and he said, she's got cancer. Lopa, when he said those words, it registered with me. Till then,
It did not.
it did not. And I turned to him and I did this to him. I hit him hard. I said, why couldn't you just say she's got a bad stomach? Why did you have to say cancer? I didn't want to hide that I've got cancer. I wanted to have time to deal with it. Until then, I had no time. So that was the reaction. The immediate reaction was, why did you tell it? And then, of course, I wept, which was good he told it, because I could weep from the hospital to the house. And then for my 7-year-old twins, it was a different ball game altogether.
Yeah, I can
It was a
imagine.
different ball.
But then, when you were cancer free, how positive, you faced cancer, you conquered cancer.
Yes.
And then you are like now inspiration for everyone. So Neerja Malik is a counselor and she is like now helping so many women out there who need support, So would you like to throw some light on that? Like, do you really love doing this, right? The way it's kind of like, it's so motivating and your faith in God and everything.
You know what happens, Lopa? The patients who come to me, and some of them are forced to come to me, okay, by their family members or a doctor or nurses. And some of them come to me like this. They just want to curl up and die. And then I start talking. And as I start talking, some kind of a change happens. Because the ace up my sleeve is, I've been there. I've done that. I know what it is. I understand. A psychologist goes to them and says, be positive. And they said, do you know what we're going through? Do you know what my family is going through? I say, yes, I do.
Because you have been going through this.
I've won those moccasins.
You have won those.
I've gone through.
You've conquered that.
I've gone through surgeries and chemotherapies and radiations. And that is the turning point of an instant rapport between my patients and myself, and between the caretakers and myself. Now, let me tell you one thing. The patient is going through what the patient is going through. But the people around, they also need counseling.
The caregivers.
The caregivers, they need counseling, not only as much as, but maybe much more than the patient.
The patient themselves.
Because they have to handle it,
Right.
you see. So that is why I counsel people professionally from home now. Since 2015 October, I've been doing that. And I get calls from all over the world. I am available 24/7 to everyone. And when a patient from resistance changes to, okay, like this, and then slowly they hear me and my story, they want to quickly get into treatment. They want to get it over and done with. And the eventual thing is, I say, listen, you've seen me go through it. Whatever I've counseled you, get well soon. Join me and spread the word. It's like a ripple. I'm talking to so many people thousands.
Right.
And you will find automatically people will come to you. Wow, you've conquered it. You've done it. That's another thing. If you hear anyone say, I am a conqueror, I have started that word because I felt that I like to say, I want to say, and I do say, I'm a conqueror. Not only a survivor,
Not-
I am a
Of course, yes. So nice.
So it just gives you
Gives you the
Josh, Josh,
Yes,
zip
the
and
Josh.
sing.
Yes. Wow. Amazing. This is like so. I'm 100% sure by listening to Neerja Malik, you all are so inspired at this moment, and all the cancer patients, or if you first heard the word cancer, it's just another word. Go through the video, you will know why I'm saying this, right? And also Neerja Malik, so many other videos are there, and the way you said that, how women are opening up and they want to get the treatment done. This is so amazing because I know women on the road, I meet them and they are like, they don't want to do the treatment, they'll do some alternative treatment, and so many things go on in their mind. But when they listen to you, they are like it's like a blossom.
If I can do it,
Why can't you
so
do
can
it?
you.
So can you.
And they think, if she can do it, so can I.
So can I. Amazing. Hats off to you, Neerja Malik. I mean, I cannot even tell you how thankful I am. On behalf of Breast Cancer Hub, I would like to thank you so much. You are an inspiration,
Thank you.
and you are my hero.
And
Thank
I
you.
need to talk more. Now that I have a captive audience, not only of you,
Yes.
but everyone. There are three things that I tell people. The first is, and what reminded me is what you said. When we talk about a cell phone, a fan, a painting, a table, do we burst into sweat? No. But when you hear the word cancer, oh my God, it's like we have been ingrained with fear.
Yeah. End of life.
End of life. Now listen, 50 years back, 100 years back, understandable. But with the advent of science, advancement,
Research.
which you are doing so much of.
Yeah.
And who benefits? The patients.
Yes.
We benefit with the research that you're doing.
Right.
I tell people very clearly, listen, the word cancer, treat the word cancer is only a word. Nothing more, nothing less. Like if I'm talking about a cell phone, this is a cell phone. That's cancer. That's a cup of tea.
Very true.
Yeah, that's a lamp. That's a fan.
It's just another word.
It's just another shabd. It's only a word.
Yes.
Second thing I tell them, when you get diagnosed with cancer, don't think that this is the end all and be all of existence. Think that your treatment is only a short detour. And you will get to the same place, maybe better than before. Right? We take a detour. I don't get into Salem if I want to go to Kunur or Coimbatore from here by car, because it'll take me ages. You'll get to the same place, the same goals. You will not forget your goals of living. You will continue. This is just a short detour, which will get you from point A to Z as you were planning to be and as you will. And the third, do you get tickled?
Yeah.
Do you?
I do.
you? The third is laughter is the best medicine.
So true.
So true. So when there is laughter in your life and when there is faith in God. Lopa, while I'm about it, can I tell you about the 10 treasures of my book?
Yes, of course.
Yes?
Yes.
Great. So, the 10 treasures of my book are these. The first is, what is the first? Tell me, what is this?
Love.
Love. So the first is love. And it is strange, but I feel immense and intense love for everyone, regardless of caste, creed, everything. So, love gets you places. Love of parents, love of family, love of friends, your love for everything, your love for nature, love for animals. So love is the first treasure. My second treasure is fun and laughter. I'm always for fun and laughter.
So true.
Because the simple thing is that the more you laugh, the more endorphins there are in your body, and the more you're sad and miserable and all that, your body is just a chemical making machine. If you're happy, it makes endorphins and happy hormones. If you're sad, miserable, very upset, it creates toxins. Now, if there is a fight or a war between endorphins and endorphins and happy hormones versus the toxins, if there are more endorphins, who will win? The endorphins will win. If there are more toxins, who will win?
The toxins.
Toxins. So, with laughter, you create happiness, joy, anandam, bliss. And with that, you can overcome anything.
So nice.
So, fun and laughter. Third is God. In my Facebook posts, I always, more often than not, end with God is great. My cousins tease me, oh, God is great. But the fact is that is what it all is. Even what we're going through. There's so many people who take cancer as a prasad, as something that is being presented by God to them, so that He knows they have the strength to overcome it.
Yeah.
And you do it. You just do it because your faith, God is like a pillar of strength in your life. Right? So God. After that is faith in God. Now, if you have faith in God, guess what happens? Miracles.
Yeah.
So there's so many miracles in my life. And it happens because of my immense love for God. And I never say God fearing. My parents are God loving, not fearing. And that is what I have tried to imbibe in my children, tried to imbibe in everyone that I have come across. So after God, faith, miracles, death. Death is also a treasure. Why? Because it teaches you acceptance. Right? Now, after acceptance comes gratitude. Gratitude for who you are. Gratitude for the blessings. Oh, I got a twinge. Okay, thank you, God. I got a twinge. I got alerted. I've been diagnosed. And I can face it. And I can go through STP, study, diagnosis, plan of action, and get treated, get cured. So, the more I am grateful, the more abundance will come to me in anything. Mental, spiritual, emotional, intellectual. There is abundance, pay abundance, because I am grateful. Shukrana. Thank God for all the blessings, for your parents, your family, your everyone. And after abundance is the living in the here and the now. Now I am with you and I'm enjoying every moment. I have made a new friend and whatever you have said will stay with me. Now, in the good old days, Lopa, you had three things that were concerned with surgery, cancer. You had a surgery, you had chemotherapy, and you had radiation. Let's just think of a simple thing. 98, I had left breast cancer. I had a surgery. 2004, I had right breast cancer. When I came to, before I was put under, I looked up and I got the shock of my life because I said, who's this? You know, I thought I was in a movie with the futuristic, binoculars attached to the glasses. I thought I was waking up from a nightmare or something. And then my doctor's voice said, don't worry, this is just Vijay, Vijay Hari Bhakti, your doctor. I said, what are you doing? He said, microsurgery. So you see what I want to tell you. That 98, surgery. 2005, microsurgery. If you see my armpit on the left side, there is a khadda, there is a cave. But the same surgery done there, microsurgery. Nodes, 38 nodes were taken out from here, 21 from here, 38 from here. But I don't have a cave. It hasn't been scooped out because the methods of surgery were changed. 98, chemotherapy, nauseous, weakness, vomiting continuously. 2005, I didn't vomit even once. And the drugs were the same. The same that was given to me in 98 were given to me in 2005. Radiation. In my days, we only had cobalt, 98. Yes, by 2005, you had different types that were coming in. Now you have radiation, which is targeted to the bed of the tumor. Earlier, the cobalt radiation would go through the breast, into the heart and the lungs, and not anymore. So you can imagine the life that we are living in 2019 as opposed to what I went through in 1998 and then again in
2005.
2005.
Wow.
So.
I'm like so overwhelmed with so much, that. So how Neerja went through from 1998, 2005. But you see the spirit is always the same. And it's the gratitude towards God. And I think God picks the people who He loves the most, that, we learn to appreciate. That is something which I personally felt too, because after going through so much, in my own life, with miscarriages, one after another, and I felt like I changed as a person, and I'm more grateful to God because I changed as a person, So that's why we should always look at the positive side.
Absolutely.
Be it cancer is just another word, as Neerja said. Saying that, would you like to share anything more?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what my blood group is? A, B positive. My blood group is AB positive. And secondly, I must tell you how my journey into counseling started.
Yes.
So, I was in Bombay and someone came to visit me. And she was sent by my doctor and she said, I have started a cancer support group. Now my heart started going duck, 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 duck. You know why? See, if you have faith in God and trust, in retrospect, I figured out that God had said, okay, this girl is going to be a naughty child. She's going to enjoy life. She's going to do her graduation in social work. Then she's going to do her B.Ed. She's going to work in a school as a social worker. She's going to be the 4th standard class teacher in a school. She's going to come to Chennai and do lots of voluntary work in schools and orphanages. And she's going to teach or make the visually impaired study and write exams, etc. So my life has been all this.
Structured in that.
Structured. Get married. Lots of miscarriages. 4th month, 6th month, 8th month are stillborn in the 8th month. Twins who were 2 months and 5 days premature. They were supposed to be born on the 9th of September. I think they wanted to come out and be free. So I went into labor on the 5th of July, which is when they were born. So all these things, and I think that God said, this is the path you're going to take. You're going to experience anything and everything.
Yes.
So that anyone who comes to you can identify with what you've gone through, or you can identify with what they're going through, and you can help them. So I was also given the gift of the gab. I can talk to anyone from any age group. I'm very lucky in that. And when you do your graduation in social work, you learn skills such as casework, group work, community work. When you are teaching, you learn more skills. So that was a whole package. And then the experiences in life, and then the fact that I wanted to share my experiences. Now this lady turned to me and she said, I have started this support group. I said, yes, I'm going to go back to Chennai and start
a support group.
And she said, no, you can't. And I said, why not? And she said, you have to be a survivor. You have to live for 5 years.
Oh, I didn't know that is the
Imagine,
criteria.
that is the criteria.
Oh.
That you cannot be a counselor till you have lived for 5 years.
I had no idea about that.
Can you believe it? I was so excited.
So excited.
And then I was so puss. And I said, why? Why? And she said that if anything happens to you in those 5 years, which are supposed to be years of survivorship, then people will get disheartened. Okay. I was so disappointed, rejected, neglected. I felt all kinds of things. And finally what happened was that I stopped thinking about it.
You waited for 5 years?
No, I didn't. That is the beauty. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So I didn't wait for 5 years. It so happened that my uncle was here and he called me and he said, listen, my friend's cousin is here. Why don't you just go to the hospital and meet? The video is going on. Sorry.
Yeah, so your cousin...
Yeah?
Yeah.
So he said, my cousin is here. So why don't you, to my uncle, why is it possible for her to just go and meet my relative? That happened in December of 98. The same year
that you
I
got
was diagnosed.
So amazing. Yeah.
Now, at that point, I never thought, 5 years. I just went ahead and did it.
So nice, and I'm so happy you did that, because even now when I meet women, they just finished the chemo.
Yes.
I'm taking the interview and they are becoming counselors for others.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter, even they can counsel others too. Absolutely. And I do not believe in this 5-year period journey at all.
So imagine. Yes. Lopa, if I had waited for those 5 years,
your spirit would have gone down.
Not only that, sweetie, I would have lost those 5 years of experience. Because from 98 to 2005 is how much? 5 and 2, 7 years?
Yeah.
5 years of experience I would have wasted. And then within 2 years?
Again, I know.
So...
I had no idea.
Yes, so this is a fact of life, and I can tell you myself. That is why they say survivorship is 5 years. So if you are a survivor,
you count yourself as 5 years. Yeah.
Muthu, there's a video going on here.
Yeah.
So if there is survivorship for 5 years, then the fact of the matter is that I would have wasted out on it.
Yes. No,
Right?
absolutely.
So if you have the urge
Yes.
to spread your knowledge, because you have experienced something,
Yes.
and you spread it, you know what? When I see the joy on the faces of people who came in, looking as if they're going to die, and slowly I'm able to change their perspective. That is when I live.
So amazing.
Do you understand?
Yes, so awesome.
That is what gives me immense
Satisfaction, please,
Satisfaction.
Yes.
Yes, I did it.
You did it.
I did
Wow.
it.
Unbelievable.
That is what keeps me going.
No, I can totally relate, because when I'm meeting people and I
Yes.
get their perspective, and I
Yes.
meet the women just finished treatment and they are now becoming a source of strength for others just diagnosed.
There you
Right?
go.
So they are supporting each other, and the
Absolutely.
amount of strength they derive from each other is unbelievable. So what you are
Correct.
doing is something you are giving life to others.
Absolutely.
So-
And that in turn is giving me joy, life,
and satisfaction. It helps you to keep
satisfaction.
going.
It keeps me going.
Amazing, amazing.
So this is the
this
story
is-
of my life.
Story of Neerja Malik, and
And-
no wonder I say legendary Neerja Malik. So she definitely inspires. She's inspired me, and you want to. So this is her book.
Yes. And let me tell you that this book was all my experiences, naughtiness, how I came across these treasures one by one. And I literally dictated, because this is my life, my feelings, my emotions, and who better than I to tell it?
To tell it.
Right.
So it's all, and I please everyone read this book, and all the 10 treasures that I learned so
Yes.
much from you today. And
They are all in
they are
this
all
book.
in
My,
this.
my 10 treasures are all in this book.
Yes.
And you would love, now this is for instance me, and there are a lot of pictures. This was my graduation in social work, and you look at these pictures and you'll say, what? But I tell you one thing, I used to do aerobics. If you can see this picture clearly, that is after my chemo here, when my hair had fallen. Do you know what I say for that? Hair today, gone tomorrow, back day after.
So true. And you've got lovely hair, So it's just the face. I tell everyone.
It
it's
is
just
temporary.
The face. It's temporary.
Please, my dearly beloved friends, remember one little thing, that chemotherapy, radiation, the side effects are only temporary.
Temporary.
They're not long lasting. Just as the side effects go after you're given 21 days, where your blood count is zilch, where the chemo has affected not only your good cells but your bad cells.
Yes.
It is impartial in destruction. It takes 21 days to get back to normal so that you can get another dose of chemo. Right? They won't give it to you
They
otherwise.
won't give it to you otherwise.
Now, when you give a pint of blood, after you give a pint of blood, they tell you, have a samosa, have a coffee, have a fruity, have some biscuit, and after 5-10 minutes of lying down, go. That means that our body has the capacity to get back to normal in 10 minutes.
Yes.
To whatever we've lost
Right.
in 10 minutes comes back. So let's say it takes 21
21
days
days
to get back to
Yes.
what you were,
Right.
so that they can catch you and give you a chemo again. Remember that. And talking about hair, I used to think I would pull my hair every day after chemo. Nothing happened. And I would say to myself, these doctors, they're funny people, Lopa. Have they gone through chemotherapy? No. They haven't, so how do they know? Finally, on the 21st day, when I was bathing and getting ready to go to Bombay for my chemo, as I was soaping my neck, hair came up. So what do you think I did? I finished my bath. I went to this balcony. You see this balcony?
Yeah.
I went there, I pulled out my hair, and you remember those flowers we used to think,
Yeah.
he loves me,
He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not.
I actually did this, but not by saying anything really, but by watching them whiffed away in the breeze. It was as if my troubles were drifting away. Now, talking about hair, you may not be aware of this, but in the south we have a very important temple called Balaji Venkatesh.
Yeah, I know that.
You know that.
Yeah.
A lot of people go there and give their hair.
Give their hair, donate their hair.
So one day after my chemo, so first of all I got a wig. Then in Chennai heat, you can't wear the wig, so I removed it. I would put my dupatta, tie it round and have it in front. That's hot too. So finally I said, forget it. And I removed my wig, I removed the dupatta and I didn't cover my head at all. And this lady came up to me and she said, Tirupati, ah. I said, yes. You don't go around telling people, everyone, no, this is not Tirupati. I had chemotherapy. So you know what I told my patients? I told them that people might ask you, Tirupati, ah. And you say, Ama, Tirupati. And I told Balaji, I said, thank you for giving me a reason or a justification to share with people that yes, Tirupati. And I promise you that when I'm done with my treatment, I went there, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
6 times.
And I gave my hair at different parts of my existence after that. I said, Balaji, I will come to you and I will give my hair. So there are different reasons that you come up with. And I was so happy. And when I went, mind you, my treatment finished. It was the kid's birthday on the 5th of July. I did something very stupid. People, I'm giving you a warning. Please don't do what I did. I had my surgery. 21 days later, my chemo started. So the standard thing is 6 to 8 chemotherapies. And you know what came over me? I did my 3 chemos and then I told the doctors, I want my radiation done with my last 3 chemos. And they said, no. It's not done because you will get hit, your body will get hit from within for chemo
And then
and from
radiation.
without with radiation. I insisted because my kid's birthday was on the 5th of July. I wanted to be here by the 3rd of July. Finished my treatment and I came. But I tell everyone, don't do this because it took its toll on me. There's no need to hurry up things. Now, what happens when I do all these things? It teaches me to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Please do not take things into your hand. I insisted because I wanted to be here for their birthday. Please have your surgery.
Right.
Have your 6 to 8 chemos. Have your radiation.
Have your radiation.
What's the
Get
hurry?
100% eradicated from cancer.
Where's the fire?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Another thing, my birthday in 98. So I was diagnosed in Feb. It was my birthday in June. 11th of June, exactly a month back from today. So I got up in the morning. Some friends had come to be with me. I went holier than thou. I went to the diagnostic center and gave my blood for a CBC. And then I went to the Gurudwara. I went to Anjaneya's temple. I went to Haji Ali. I did all kinds of things. And I roamed all over the world. Well, all over Bombay. Came back. My parents were standing with my blood report at the door. Had I seen that blood report, I would never have left the house. My blood count was very low. I was vulnerable. My immunity was down.
And you went to all those
And I
places.
went to all those places. Haji
So
Ali,
prone to infection.
you have beggars sitting all over, you have all kinds of things. So please, while I'm talking to you and these thoughts are coming up, please remember, I used to call my 3 weeks. First week, knockout week. Second week, recuperate week. Third week, party week. Why? Because by the third week, towards the end, you're as good as new for them to give you another shot.
Another shot.
So like I would, don't do this. But I would see a movie the night before. Why? Because my blood count was good. Or I would go out and have a meal or something. Why? Because my immunity had become strengthened and I was not vulnerable to infection. But please be careful. You really need to be careful during those days, especially the middle week of your chemotherapy, because that is when it hits you. You don't feel it. I felt I was fine. There's no sign to say, knock, knock. You should feel weak. You should feel this because your blood count. No. The blood is happening within you. So from the outside, and especially if you're feeling good and you have these treasures, you think that you're invincible.
Yeah.
I tell you, when people talk to me, I said, you know what? Spider-Man, it was radiation. I've been radiated maybe 30 plus times the first time and 30 plus times. So 60, 70 times.
Wow.
Right? So this is how it is all a matter of how you look at it, how you perceive it. So if I counsel patients, it's not as if I can take away the cancer, but I can help to change their perception so that they can handle it better, more positively, and with zip and zing.
Awesome. That's like, I want to give you a round of applause.
Let's have a hug.
This is so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And of course, all information will be there on the video, will be there on Miss Neerja Malik's page and everything. And if you ever want to get connected, she's always there 24/7.
Absolutely.
And she's, I would say, treasure, in India's treasure. You know, number 11, you should call yourself a treasure.
There you go. So
Right?
today,
Yes.
I hereby, thanks to Lopa, call myself a
As
treasure.
a treasure. Number 11 point
God
treasure.
is
Yes.
great.
Neerja, the
God is
treasure.
great.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.